You know, Mayor Clay, just to get into some things, tell us a little bit of what you're doing, you know, right now in the city of Gary.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want you to know that it's an honor to be in the house.
Thank you.
With you. We're doing a lot of things in Gary. In fact, we've been doing a lot of things from day one. Our focus now is on what we call property tax restoration. In other words, you cannot have a great city unless you have a good base for your property tax.
That's true.
What that means is we've got to attract businesses into our community. We've got to get an airport running. We have what we call the intermodal. We got to get that all going. So we have a lot of businesses really that have moved into the community here that's been under the radar that will be paying property taxes. I'll give you a good example. United States Steel. It's been a real secret. Shh, don't tell nobody. Okay. But there's been a real secret. $221 million first phase investment in U.S. Steel, which they will expand it. Over 500 people getting ready to go to work there. Our city job resource center that's located inside the city hall are sending people there as we speak. That means what? Jobs. That means property taxes coming into our city. Phase 2 on that is $270 million, a project of expansion. They already had a permit. They're already sending people there to work from the city of Gary. We talked with them and said to them we want Gary people to work there, and that's going on right there. Our airport, for instance, right now we are ahead of schedule on having the runway down to expand, having the railroad track down to expand the runway so that we can bring in heavy cargo, freight, commercial, and shuttle airlines to our airport. And that must be in place by December 31st, 2013, as per the FAA mandated. And it's way ahead of schedule. The RDA has put almost $20 million in there. United States Congress, another $34 million, so that's almost $54 million to make that happen. And when that happens, that engine is going to take off and it's going to soar into orbit like an eagle. Then you leave there, you go to the corner of 7th and Broadway. There's going to be a facility built there. We're going to break the ground on that soon, $7 million. $5.2 million of that was what we call tax credits from the state. The other money was from a private developer, a guy by the name of Chain. There will be people living upstairs, retail at the bottom, which will be in our downtown section. You're looking at a place called Serenity Gardens out on 12 and 20 near Lake Street, 120-unit facility, $17 million for that facility. People will be moving in that. We're about 80, 85, 90% complete on cutting the ribbon on that. And we should be cutting the ribbon on that maybe sometime in June. We have about 22 other small businesses that's coming out of our community, dentists, PGD trucking, dialysis center, and all of these people pay taxes. Little Caesars, Pizza, Sharks. We have 4 businesses that the city council passed here in about a month ago. One is a window manufacturing company that will be located out on 12 and 20. They're working on the building right now. There's another one called American Bakery, I might add. They sell donuts and other bakery goods, wholesale and retail. And I could just go on and on with the businesses that's in our community. And we have contracted, I might add, with a firm called Policy Analytics. And we call it pro bono. You know, these lawyers use the word pro bono, which really means free.
Right.
And what they're doing is adding up all of the property tax monies that will come into our general fund from all these businesses to let us know exactly how much monies we will have as relates to property tax monies coming in. Because the state passed a law that says that the property taxes will be capped at like 1%. Now, many people don't understand that, but here's how it works. If you have a home and it's assessed at $100,000, according to the state law, and this will go into effect 2012, your maximum tax bill, so to speak, will be $1,000. Used to be a time that your maximum tax bill will be $2,000. Now, if it's $1,000, who's going to make up the other $1,000?
True.
We're saying that the property tax restoration program that we have going will make that up. Since I've been mayor, we have decreased spending almost $41 million. We inherited, most of this. We have torn down approximately 126 houses as we speak. We're going to tear down approximately 800 more by the end of the year. We've paved approximately 200 streets. Starting April 1st, all when the weather breaks, we're going to start paving streets in our community. 60, we've already contracted for that. Of course, we're fixing these potholes, and potholes everywhere.
Yeah, coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, and we're working on those every day. We got 4 crews working on the potholes. Since January, we've patched almost 6,000 potholes in Gary, Indiana. But potholes everywhere, Chicago, everywhere. They got potholes, So we're really working and pushing because my beck and call is to, and I mean, it's a very lofty beck and call to make Gary not one of, but the greatest city in America. And so a man thinketh, so is he. And that's my thought pattern.
President Obama stated in the beginning of his campaign that Gary and Mayor Clay you're very instrumental in helping him on his campaign, that he really wanted to support you and the endeavors of the city. You have mentioned a lot of businesses that have came in under your administration, places where there used to be vacant lots before you came in, that now there are businesses sitting there. We want to talk about the press conference you had this morning about the U.S. Postal Office on Martin Luther King Street that is scheduled to possible closing. And if you want to elaborate a little bit on that for the viewing audience.
Right. Over on Martin Luther King Drive there's what is called a processing and distribution center of mail. And they sort it out and then, of course, send it to the prospective places. And the United States Postal Service is saying they're going to study to see if they're going to keep it there or if they're going to move it to South Bend, Indiana. Our facts show that it should remain where it is. And the reason for that is because it's more efficient where it is. I'll give you a good example. In South Bend, they have 2 sorting machines, 2. In Gary, Indiana, they have 3 sorting machines. So we can do it faster, more efficient. And it really is about the service to the community, and not only to our community, to the whole entire region. Some people think that the people that work there are all Gary people. 70% of the people that work there do not live in Gary. They live in other places, Valparaiso, Porter County, Maryville, Hobart, Lake Station, you name it. So it's really a regional effort here. And I'll give you a good example when I say efficiency. And this is going to be one of our selling points, efficiency and location, I might add. If you own a business such as U.S. Steel, or you own a business such as Little Caesars Pizza, or you own a business in the city or in the region, and you must send some mail overnight, or you must send a letter or receive a letter that's first class, and that letter may mean millions of dollars to your business, or it may mean $1,000 to your business. And you need that letter to get there the next day. But because of the efficiency of what might be going on in South Bend, it won't get there for 2 or 3 days. Wow. And the businesses lose money. And you lose money, you lose customers and all of that. So we have the most efficient, we have the best location, we have the best experienced workers there, and I can see no reason for moving that. Some people say, well, Gary lost population. Well, number one, Gary didn't lose population. We lost it on paper, but we didn't lose population on physical bodies. And that don't have anything to do with it anyway.
Correct.
When you look at Gary, you're looking at a city that has the best location anywhere in the Midwest. On a clear day, you can see Chicago.
Correct.
We have an airport. We have some of the largest trucking companies anywhere in the whole entire world. We have trains coming in and out of here. CN just spent $300 million and bought EJ&E Railroad, and we're going to get that railroad track down so they can go over to a place called the Kirkyard. And right now, when trains come in with products coming out of China and all these different places, they are log jammed in Chicago for 17 days before they can get out of there and go to New York or Ohio or Michigan or places like that. So once we get that done, then that same train that's bringing cargo and et cetera into our country, they can, should I say, reroute themselves in Gary in 3 days. So if you own a business, would you want yours to be log jammed in Chicago for 17 days or Gary, Indiana for 3? 5-year-old kid that flunked kindergarten answer that question.
Yes, that question. 3,
of course. So that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. And we're going to get there. We're right here at the goal line, and we're going over on that.
What type of effect would it have on the city itself with moving that postal office out of the city?
Well, on the city of Gary, it would have a major effect because of, some of the issues that I just mentioned. Service, jobs, for instance. 30% of the people that work there live in Gary. And from what I'm understanding now, they have a contract where they can't lay people off, but they can transfer you.
Right.
So if you live in Gary and they transfer you to South Bend, Indiana, it's going to be a hardship on you, and you may not be able to keep the job.
Right.
So it definitely will affect the jobs for people who work there that live in Gary, Indiana, for sure. And then it'll affect the service tremendously. So we're saying don't affect the job, don't affect the service, and keep it right where it is because it helps everybody. And I'm going to talk to, in fact, we sent letters out today to some of the mayors around the area because it affects their community too. Many, many people come from Lake Station and Hobart and all those places and use that post office because they can get it processed there faster. In fact, you can process bulk mail out of that Gary Processing and Distribution Center over on King Drive, and bulk mail will get to your house, especially if you live in Gary, the next day. Now, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's right. So we're saying keep it there.
Do you feel that outside of the community, those people in power outside of the community is trying to force Gary into submission as far as the Senate Bill 105 is concerned, the bankruptcy law? If you can elaborate for the viewing audience about Senate Bill 105.
Right. Well, first of all, I want to make it clear, and candidly clear. Gary, Indiana is not going to file bankruptcy. It's not in the best interest of the people of the community. The senator on that is Senator Ed Chabot. He introduced the bill. Senator Earlene Rogers, co-chair on that, co-sponsor on that particular bill. And they were in my office approximately maybe about a month ago. And we said to them that there's a certain section in that bill we do not like. And that section really mandated us from creditors that, for instance, if you are a creditor, and there was a percentage of money that we owed you, you could file with the Distress Unit Appeal Board to mandate Gary to file bankruptcy. We didn't like that. Right. And thanks to Senator Earlene Rogers, Ed Chabot, they went back to the State House and had it revised and took that section out. So now the only way that Gary, Indiana can file bankruptcy is you would have to have the support of the city council and the executive branch of government saying we're going to go to Indianapolis and file bankruptcy. So I'm not going to support that. We don't have to. Give you a good example. As we speak right now, the city had to borrow money. Every city does this. It's nothing new. That's true. At the beginning of the year, you borrow money to pay your employees, to pay your police, pay your fire, pay your city judges' employees, pay your city clerks' employees. Now, where did the money come from? It came from the bond bank, Indiana Bond Bank. Now, if we file bankruptcy, and the reason we had to borrow this money is because the tax distribution don't come in until later on, maybe February or March, right? So we borrow money from the banks, put it there. When the tax distribution come in, the banks take theirs off the top.